Hello, fine gentlemen of Man versus Fat Football Swansea. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whenever it may be you watch this. It's an absolute pleasure to have you with us for what will be my final time recording a video roundup for you all. Usually I have some notes to the side of me, and I work through this quite methodically, team by team, player by player, highlighting a lot of guys as we go along. But I felt for this one, it would be more in keeping to keep it ad-lib and just speak from the heart. It is the final time I'll be able to come to you guys like this in this medium. And what a ride it's been. What an absolute ride it's been, boys. I remember when we used to do these write-ups and they were typed and they were more of a sort of football journalistic analytical approach with a bit of a tweak, some nicknames and a little bit of sense of humour put in there. I'd like to think. Some people may disagree, but I'd like to think so. And they went down a treat. It caused a bit of a buzz. One of my favourite weeks of the season was when I was unable to attend a session and our very own Joe Gear took over and put the write-up out for a week. And let's say everyone was in stitches, but it wasn't something that was PG or particularly shareable on social media. But it was a beautiful moment in our league of just light-hearted entertainment for a group of guys who didn't really know each other all that well back then. We've evolved so much. I personally owe, and the league itself owes, so much of our media development and the beautiful graphics, the club logo, the club crest up there in the top right corner that now adorns pretty much everything that we have, from club kits on a Tuesday night to the 11s kits we wear on a weekend. Shorts and bobble hats and everything you can imagine, mugs, t-shirts, whatever. That logo is emblazoned in Man vs Fat Swansea history, and everything you see there was created by our very own Dan Hunt, our media master. He's the first person I'd like to thank in all of this. Does a lot of unsung work behind the scenes. Has very deservedly been acknowledged by you boys in winning Clubman, one of the end of season awards nights. Richly deserved and long overdue, may I add. But still continues to do a lot of work that goes unsung, and just does it because he enjoys it and wants to give you guys a higher level of service. Thank you to him. Well, excuse me, chaps, still fighting off something in my chest. I'd like to thank Howell for stepping up into the position of coach, for taking over. Throughout this journey, I've personally been blessed to work with some phenomenal PFs. We've had some PFs that have been interested in the system, some that have been interested in the well-being, some that have been interested in the tracking side of things, some that have been interested in the support. Howell struck me as a man, even just a couple of weeks in, who had a coaching future lined up for him, had more than the potential required to become a successful coach himself. He has flourished, he has grown. It has been an absolute pleasure to work alongside him and see his confidence develop each and every week, to the point where, I'll be honest with you chaps, last night was an absolute pleasure for me to be involved in that I felt as though I wasn't needed whatsoever. Had I not been there, the session would have carried on exactly the same. And that is a massive credit to Howell, to Shahi, to Kyle, to Chizzy, to the captains, to everyone there that keeps that process, that concept, that family operating week in, week out, as it always has done. Just naturally, organically running, as it always has done, as it always should do. It filled me with nothing but comfort to know that I can go and it will continue to flourish and succeed without me. We've built a legacy, we've built a juggernaut, let's be honest. From where we've started to where we are now, we're the fastest growing league in the UK. We're the national damn champions, baby. We are the pinnacle of what MvFF sets out to achieve. And it will continue to go from strength to strength. It will continue to expand. It will continue to grow. It will continue to attract new faces. It will continue to constantly cycle through massive amounts of weight lost. I cannot wait to see from the sidelines a new season in a new year with a new era of a staff team, a new coach in charge. I genuinely believe the new season coming, starting on January the 3rd, with 14 weeks all the way through, straight 14 weeks, unbroken, no breaks. I genuinely think it's going to be the highest weight loss season we've ever seen in MvFF at Swansea. I believe you boys, post-Christmas, are going to absolutely annihilate the weight loss side of things. I don't know exactly, but I believe the highest season we've ever had was somewhere around the 350 mark. I wouldn't surprise me if you boys blow past 400, maybe even creep up to 500 kilos lost in 14 weeks. I cannot wait to see it. I cannot wait to witness it from the sidelines, boys. You can see on screen here, just to talk shop for 2 seconds without me waffling, Green's had a phenomenal week. All 11 showed up, 9 out of 11 tracked. Corey Davis, BMI boss that he is our Christmas Cracker Cup percentage leader. The biggest loser in the cup competition is a gentleman who's achieved BMI boss and is still losing weight. It's absolutely unreal. Anyone who has been to BMI boss, if you were to get in touch with Griff, with Stefan, with Peter Hallett, with Kev, they tell you how hard it is to maintain that position. They tell you, Dan Griff as well, they tell you how absolutely hard it is to maintain that position. Once you hit it, it's like the pressure's off. It's like the focus, the motivation, the accountability, the pressure, gone. I've hit it, I've done it, time to relax. And staying in it is so hard. It is so hard to achieve. And Corey's doing it with aplomb. Not only that, is he's still picking up personal individual accolades like the biggest loser. Unreal. 70 out of 110 attending, boys, is brilliant for this time. For 5 days before Christmas. Unreal. You can see there on screen, as a league, we put on 1.6 kilos, which is to be expected. I actually thought it'd be more than that, considering this is the last week, just before Christmas. In a 10-team league, we had 8 teams who didn't really have all that much to play for. It was only the greens and whites with something on the line last night. So to put on just 1.6 kilos is actually a bit of a win for us. You can see beneath that, despite the overall league gain, so many boys lost big weight. Matthew Owen hitting his 5%. Well done, mate. Welcome to the 5% club. Unreal achievement from you. Something that I know you've been chasing since you've joined us. You've got close, you've dipped back. You've got close, you've dipped back. You've not let it knock you completely off course. You've grown, you've learnt, you've adjusted to a long-term mentality in that, all right, fair enough, I've taken a step back, but now I'm going to take 2 steps forward. All right, another step back, but let's take another 2 steps forward. And you've seen that long-term, that mentality achieves great things. Your final week before December, your final week of the season, your final week of the year as a whole, you hit your 5%. Absolutely superb, mate. Well done to you. Let's crack on in the new year now and see if we can get that 10% in the next season, mate. Superb. Christopher Carter, absolute league legend. One of the most humble, gracious, and quiet guys you will ever meet in the camp. But does so much work behind the scenes to support himself, his teammates, those around him, on the pitch with the weight loss in the WhatsApp groups every week. Just what a nice guy. Just an absolutely lovely gentleman. The kind of guy that you'd want as your best mate. Yeah, a true gent. And to see him hit his 10%, the guy didn't even acknowledge it. He sort of walked away from the scales. It was only when I refreshed that I realised he'd hit it. He wasn't even going to celebrate it. It was just something that he did. We made damn sure that we celebrated it for him. But yeah, just such a gracious, lovely man. Well done to you for hitting your 10%, mate. Craig Bowles, Vinny, truly knuckled down in the last few weeks. And you can see beneath him there, Scotty May and Chizzy, 3 men joint second in 2.4 kilos lost. Absolutely fantastic from them. What's that? 7.2 kilos lost there between 3 guys. You're talking over a stone there. Lost between 3 guys. Phenomenal. Matthew Harris beneath them there. 2.3 kilos, recently joined us and already smashing the weight loss. Marco Banfastin, our biggest team loss of the week. Well done. Bolt's not that far behind them. You can definitely tell which 2 teams had something riding on last night. Well done to you guys. We move on to the results you can see on screen there. A lot of them really close. The difference in milestones. Scranrye helped out there by the 10% from Christopher Carter. Well done to them. Bulks winning the cup final by virtue of a bonus goal from Corey for staying in his BMI for another week, and just so many hat tricks. So many hat tricks that happened to line up with that night last night. Marco Bonifazzi not having a bad week on the scales themselves either, but 11 goals scored just on the scales. You look at the overall score. There was only 1 goal scored on the pitch between these teams. It was a draw. So you're looking at 10 goals scored for the Whites and 16 goals scored for the Greens off the pitch. An absolutely unbelievable cup final. A pleasure to referee it. I'm not sure a few of the players would agree with me being there. I'll admit that the emotion of the occasion of it being my final act as your coach did get the better of me. May have let the game flow more than it should have done. But yeah, it was a surreal experience. It was a bittersweet end to what has been one of the best 18 months of my life. Pleasure to be on the pitch with you guys, as I so very rarely get to do for the final occasion. Congratulations to the incredible Bulks who have gone through a tumultuous period. Lots of upheaval, lots of guys leaving. Struggled a lot of weeks with poor attendance. Struggled a lot of weeks with not a lot of weight being shifted. Yeah, they went through a bit of a refurb. A couple of new lads came on board. Stephen Thomas, you cannot underestimate just how impactful his arrival was for them. His admission to the team was their turning point. I think Dean and Luke, the captaincy duo on the Greens, would agree with that. Since then, boys like Scott and Reese and Aaron have come in, and others, and steered the ship in a completely different direction. And they're now fully focused on attending every week, tracking every week, losing weight every week, doing well on the pitch every week. I believe they may be the team to watch for you boys next season. That's off to all the guys involved. Thank you to Kyle for refereeing the games. Thank you to Callum and Manning for stepping in as a referee duo for one of the games as well. Much appreciated, lads. Doesn't go unnoticed that you're willing to put yourself front and centre in what is a difficult position, a difficult role, to ensure that the lads enjoy their evening. Thank you for that. Final slide. Our team of the week. It can only be one bunch of guys. I must admit, I have absolutely no idea who that is in the background, but he seems well chuffed to be involved. Yeah, well done to the incredible Bulks. Well done to such a handsome bunch of men for achieving something brilliant this Christmas. You can all go into the Christmas period holding your heads up high as the team who won the last piece of silver in 2022 at MvFF Swansea. Roll on the new year, boys. All to play for. There's so much I'd like to say. There's so many thank yous. I've already thanked so many people. A massive thank you to Shahi, who has stepped up to PF when, to be honest with you, he was already doing a PF role before he was appointed. He does so much behind the scenes, so much for this league. And he does it without needing to be told or delegated or directed. He just does it because he cares and he sees MvFF as a passion and part of his life. There are so many elements and aspects to our league and what you guys get stuck into every week that simply wouldn't exist without him. So massive, massive thank you to Shahi. Thank you to Pure Football. Thank you to Carl, to Craig, to all the boys down there that have put on a fantastic venue for us every single week. Have helped us, have supported us, have always been there at the other end of the phone for me in particular whenever I've needed anything. Yeah, have been very, very keen to push us as the best league in Wales, the best league in the UK. As the national champions, maybe we can actually claim that. There's some phenomenal leagues out there, but we've definitely put ourselves on the map, and Pure Football have been a big, big part of us doing that. Thank you to them. Thank you to Chickenhead for being our referee for so long. Did a phenomenal job. Thank you to Clayton for stepping in for the last season and a bit. Be an absolute pleasure to have you back as a player next season, mate. Yeah, cannot wait to see what you achieve when you got your boots back on. Anyone who thinks they may have come up against some tough defenders so far, you've met nothing yet if you haven't played against Mr. Clayton Holloway. Just thank you to so many of you. Thank you to all the captains and the vice captains. It's a tough role. There's a lot asked of you. There's a lot of pressure on a Tuesday evening. It might be hard. I've been in that position myself where it's actually quite hard to still enjoy your evening because you're busy doing the admin, you're busy making sure everyone gets their minutes, you're busy making sure you fill in the captain's scorecard at the end of the night, you're busy making sure you don't forget to get the boys' votes for man of the match and man of the week, you're busy making sure you don't miss who scored the goals on the pitch for you. It can feel like a bit of a job and a bit of a chore sometimes, but we're blessed to have captains and vice captains in this league who just do it each week because they enjoy it and have done it for a long time. There's a lot of very experienced leaders we have here. Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to have them with us. So thank you to them, to the captains, to the events team. You think back to the Espresso Yourself walks, the climate Penavan, the challenges we did, the food picture challenges of the recipe ideas, the Night of 1,000 Tears, the self-affirmation challenge, where we asked you boys to post 3 positive things about yourself that turned into, honestly, in this entire 18-month process, my favourite night of the entire thing. To sit there and watch, I'm going to get teary, boys who barely even knew each other in a chat group of, what were we back then? 40 guys? Maybe 50 guys? If that, speaks so honestly and so candidly about such deep and vulnerable reasons for why they're here. I sat there and I cried. I sat there and I cried in pride, in happiness, in joy, in awe of you boys. And yeah, all of those ideas, all of those things that we ran came from the events team. They came from hard work of guys giving up their evenings to just chat about what we could do to help the league. So thank you to every single one of them. Yeah, I thank you to you boys. Thank you to every single member. Thank you to every single person who's come down and enjoyed it. Thank you to every single person who goes home and mentions it, that might bring a mate on board, that might talk about it in work. We've had people like Carol, for instance, put out broadcasts in his work, in internal networks, his intranet. We've had bits from Kev and Craig through their NHS links, advertise us and spread the word. We've had someone, one of our sort of veteran members who left us at the end of season 2 or 3, Stephen Jones, one of the first men after Christian Griffiths to hit Be My Boss, was instrumental in us expanding from 4 to 6 teams. Of the 20 odd lads that came on board in that expansion, I reckon Stefan was responsible for recruiting about 14 of them. So massive thank you to him. His efforts in allowing us to step up to a 6-team league does not go unforgotten whatsoever. Unforgotten, that's not a word. Thank you to all of you that have helped us grow, to expand. It's happened at such a quick rate. We are the fastest growing club in the southwestern Wales region. Of 40 leagues, we're the fastest growing club. And I'm quite confidently informed that we're actually the fastest growing club in the entire UK. That is down to you guys. That is down to you guys enjoying it so much that you're telling other people. We don't advertise or recruit actively because we don't need to, because you boys do it. And our waiting list just continues to grow despite us doing absolutely nothing to facilitate that. The waiting list is booming all the time. And that's because you guys are enjoying it. So thank you for that. You have ensured that this league is in such a healthy position for Howell to take over. Howell will log on to that system whenever he does, and we'll see a massive waiting list looking back at him. And it's a lovely problem to have. Yeah, we will never struggle to keep the numbers that we've got, or to expand, or to grow. But we have this monster of a league, this beast of a league that just has a life of its own and has become something so much more than just a kickabout and a pair of scales. There are so many stories in this league of guys improving their well-being, guys improving their mental health, their confidence, their belief in themselves, their sense of self-worth. The amount of messages I've had from guys saying things like, my kids feel as though they've got their dad back. I feel as though I found my love and enjoyment for football and myself again. I feel like myself for the first time in so long. This process, this league has honestly saved my life from where I previously was in a very dark place. I'm paraphrasing, but we've heard so many stories like that are incredibly moving, touching, stirring to hear. And it is all because we've got a weight loss football league running on a Tuesday evening. It makes so much difference to so many guys, and it has been my honour to have been your coach for so long. It'd be my absolute honour to have been the captain of this ship that has made so many guys so much happier than they were before. Stepping away and stepping back has been so hard. One of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. It's the right decision. It's what's needed. I'm looking forward to my kids having their dad back. Oh, but it has been an absolute pleasure. I cannot wait to be there on the 3rd of January with you boys, where I am going to spend the entire evening walking around and cuddling and crying on the shoulder of every single manly fat lad I can find. I hope you're prepared for that. Yeah, have a great Christmas, guys. Thank you to so many people, to all of you. I genuinely cannot remember everybody that deserves appreciation and thanks. There are so many guys. I haven't even mentioned guys like Andrew Hayward and Aaron Harris for all they do behind the scenes. Someone like Slug, who has been one of the longest serving and the biggest suffering captains in our history. The amount that man went through, it felt like 3 seasons of every single week where he never had a team of above 7 players. And was constantly borrowing, constantly losing games that his team may have probably won if they were able to field full teams and full outfits. Never moaned, never complained, never groaned or griped about it, never once said, hey mate, this is getting a bit unbearable, is there anything we can do to change it? Never once tried to bend the rules or manipulate the situation to improve his team's environment and what they were going through. Just got on with it. Just made the best of it, supported the men around him, empowered and uplifted the guys around him, whilst losing weight himself. He showed me his before and after pictures last night at the session. The difference is unreal. It's guys like him, you don't really realise it because he's so quiet. But honestly, mate, you are one of the most respected members in camp for everything you've been through, for everything that you've done, for everything that you constantly do for other people. You, as a human being, are one of the most well-liked guys I've ever seen. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't even mention someone like him. Yeah, just thank you. I could sit here and ramble for half an hour, guys. I'm not gonna do that to you. I will see you once more on January the 3rd. Merry Christmas, guys. Have a phenomenal Christmas, a brilliant New Year. Enjoy it. Let yourselves go a little bit. Know that you're coming back in the new year to what should realistically and hopefully be 3 full seasons of just 14 weeks straight, back to back, just getting on with it. Just losing weight week in, week out. Let's smash it. No more breaks, none of this stop-start, none of this having to put a cup in place because we've got a tricky period coming up. It'll be 14 weeks, awards night, 14 weeks, awards night, 14 weeks, awards night of just going at it. So enjoy yourself. Know that you've got that initial first week grace period of no own goals when we come back for the new season, and then just smash it, boys. I can honestly see you guys losing half a ton in the next season. Just smash it. And I will continue to sing your praises and shout your glory from the rafters. I will be here. I will linger in the background. I will keep an eye on everything. I'm not going to disappear. Howell is your man. Howell is your leader, your captain, your coach, led by the fantastic support of Shahi, Kyle and Chizzy. But I will not be a stranger. I will lurk in the shadows and have the absolute pleasure of following you boys and what you get up to. Thank you so much. For the final time, guys, that's me done. Good evening. Merry Christmas. I will see you soon.